Okay, take a quick look around you right now. Grab your smartphone, check out that suitcase sitting in your closet, or even just the furniture you're sitting on. Have you ever noticed that a ton of the world's absolute best, most successful products share one brilliant trait? They aren't solid blocks. They are deliberately, carefully divided into parts. But why is that? Why on earth do we spend so much engineering effort designing things specifically so they can be broken apart? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're actually going to unlock that mystery by diving into the very first TRIZ principle, which is segmentation. And honestly, if you're into systematic innovation, segmentation is hands down one of the most powerful patterns anyone has ever discovered. It's a mental model that has fundamentally changed everything from how we handle global manufacturing to how you tackle your daily workflow. Section 1. The Secret to Better Products, Defining TRIZ Segmentation. So what exactly are we talking about here? At its core, segmentation simply means dividing an object, a system, or a process into independent parts or flexible modules. And I know, it sounds a bit counterintuitive at first. You'd normally think a solid, unified piece would be way stronger, right? But the actual goal here is to intentionally create smaller, fully independent pieces that just happen to work perfectly together. This one simple mental shift unlocks some really massive benefits. The second you move away from rigid, chunky systems and start embracing flexible modules, you immediately gain incredible flexibility. You get way easier transportation. You literally drive down costs and make maintenance an absolute breeze. Mostly because, you can just swap out a tiny broken part instead of tossing the entire machine in the trash. And most importantly, it clears the path for much better, much faster innovation. Section 2. Real-world segmentation examples. From living rooms to global trade. Let's make this real. Imagine you're moving to a new apartment. Ask yourself, would you rather carry a giant, solid, impossibly rigid wardrobe down 3 flights of stairs? Or would you rather transport nice, flat-packed, modular components and just piece them together in your new room? Massive billion-dollar companies like IKEA built absolute global empires entirely on this specific principle of segmentation. And the reason it works is because modular furniture perfectly solves a classic engineering contradiction. See, we really need our furniture to be large when it's assembled, but we desperately need it to be small during transport. By segmenting the wardrobe, poof, that contradiction just vanishes. It is large exactly when you need it to be, and brilliantly small when you have to move it. Now, let's zoom out and look at this on a macro scale: global trade. Before standardized containers were a thing, goods were literally loaded onto ships individually. I'm talking bags of coffee, random barrels of oil. It was painfully slow, wildly expensive, and just completely chaotic. Then the whole industry applied segmentation. They introduced the standardized modular shipping container. Suddenly, every single container became a uniform segment, fitting perfectly onto trucks, trains, and ships like giant Lego blocks. The impact of this shift is honestly staggering. Get this, today, over 90% of global trade depends entirely on this one simple idea. 90% of literally everything transported around the globe. The clothes you're wearing, the food in your fridge, the electronics you just bought, all of it relies on the fact that we finally stopped treating cargo as individual rigid items and started breaking it down into standardized modules. It's wild. All right, let's zoom all the way back into the micro scale. Grab your modern smartphone. It probably looks like one sleek, magical, solid piece of glass, right? But its internal architecture is heavily, heavily segmented. It relies on a distinct battery, a completely specialized camera module, the main processor, and the display. It's basically an intricate puzzle of completely independent parts that just happen to make up a whole device. And here is the profound advantage of doing it that way. Because it's segmented, each of those modular components can be developed entirely on its own. The camera team can innovate on a crazy new lens without waiting around for the battery team to finish their work. The display can be manufactured in a completely different country from the processor. They are designed separately, improved separately, and manufactured separately. It is a completely flawless execution of TRIZ segmentation right there in high technology. Section 3. Solving your everyday problems, applying segmentation to life. So, how can you actually apply this powerful engineering concept to your own life today? Look, we all face massive, overwhelming walls sometimes, right? Maybe it's a giant multi-month project at work or trying to learn some incredibly complicated new software. Well, the solution is exactly the same as designing a global shipping container. You segment it.
You convert that terrifying mountain of work into smaller tasks, into milestones, and into distinct modules that you can just tackle one at a time. The underlying mechanism is literally exactly the same.
Which brings us to a sort of golden philosophy for all this. When something becomes difficult to manage, don't make it bigger. Break it into meaningful parts. That single sentence really captures the true systematic inventor's mindset. And it applies whether you are designing a deep space probe, trying to organize your incredibly messy closet, or managing a massive global team. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. What massive, intimidating problem in your life can you segment today? What incredibly rigid block can you break into flexible, manageable modules? Think on that. And definitely join us for our next explainer, where we're going to explore TRIZ Principle number 2, taking out. It's all about the surprising art of solving complex problems by simply removing things. Until then, make sure you subscribe to TRIZ Academy Global for more engineering secrets, fascinating patent stories, and total innovation explained. Catch you next time.